Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Peril. I am an author and knitwear designer in the Pacific Northwest, and this is a new series that I'm starting where I am working on my current cozy mystery series. This is a series that I am writing. I've been working on it for a couple of years. I have a completed draft of the first book. I have a started draft of the second book, and I have an outline for 2 or 3 more books beyond that. But in this series, I am working on book 1, making some changes to it before it potentially goes to publication. What kind of publication that's going to be, I have no idea, but we're working on some edits today. I'm about a third of the way through this round that I'm working on right now. So this is the series, and this is about a former spiritualist colony in northern Washington, a fictional place, and there's all kinds of like ghosts and witchy things and mysterious happenings going on in this town. And our main character works at the local history museum. Her name is Claudia, and she gets drawn into a mystery when a series of thefts are happening around town, and then someone breaks into the museum and steals not only some jewelry and some artifacts that mean a lot to the town, but also a vial of holy water that supposedly protects the town and was blessed by the town founder. So I have 3 things that I am kind of doing all at the same time here. First of all, I have a list of changes that I am making to this draft as I read through it. And I've got a list of general changes, like how a character is portrayed, or different changes to the setting. And then I have more specific things, such as scenes that need to happen, discussions that need to happen on page, other things like that. The second thing I am doing is, because in my last revision I moved some scenes around, I am going through and doing a very detailed timeline of the series. And I've got things that happen right now, like, for example, when I'm doing my first drafts, I always track what day we're on in addition to what chapter we're on. I usually start writing in days and then break into chapters later. And so, like, in this draft, on Monday, she has a conversation about having dinner with her family and with her sister. And then that doesn't happen until like 2 days later in this draft. So I need to go through and fix that, and some other little things, like if she mentions, this thing is happening in 2 days, then I need to make sure that it still happens in 2 days. And if not, then I either need to move it or rework some of the writing around that to make it make sense. And then the last thing I'm doing, which is pretty minor, is I'm just checking how long each of my chapters are in this draft. I'm not super picky about chapter length. However, I do want to make sure that they're fairly consistent, just because I don't want one chapter to be 50 pages long and then the next chapter be 5 pages long. I want them to be a little bit more consistent, and I usually shoot for between 15 and 20 pages. So I'm going to get started on that. I do want to put something on for background noise. I need to double check, because I've been watching a lot of Hallmark movies when I'm writing this. They just have the right vibe. And I have found that for this particular series, the 2 things that work best are either Scooby-Doo or the Aurora Tea Garden mysteries. So I want to put on the Aurora Tea Garden, but I am not sure that I can. I know that I can't get it on my big TV up here, because I use the library to watch it, and it's a whole thing. So I'm going to see if I can get it up on my second screen on my computer. I have a kitten who's trying to be very helpful and is not. Then if I can't do that, then I'm probably going to look for something either on Tubi or I'm going to pull up writing vlogs on YouTube because I'm a little out of practice and I don't know what to put in a writing vlog. It's not like I can, clips of me typing are only so interesting, and I'm not used to really talking about my work. So that is hard for me to do. I don't know what to include in a writing vlog other than non-writing things. So that is something that I need to research, which sounds weird, researching how to vlog. So let me get something queued up to watch here, and then we will get started on these changes. Yesterday. I did discover that I can watch Hoopla on my laptop, or watch Hallmark on my laptop. I also discovered a few new authors' vlogs to watch for reference, but I did not finish the chapter that was already partially done when I started. So I'm going to go back to this. And instead of watching a Hallmark movie for background noise, I'm just going to put on Forensic Files because I've seen that a few times. It's not something I have to pay attention to. So I'm going to go back to it. I am still working on chapter 4 right now, which is where I started yesterday. I have added a few minor things, but I haven't gotten to the point where I need to add the big things. I have earmarked a spot where something should probably move into, and another spot where I have a time gap that I can utilize if I need to. But I'm still working on that timeline, and I'll know more once I finish that timeline. So, working on this right now. I'm getting a late start today. It is almost 4:30 right now. I meant to get so much work done this morning, and then I remembered that it's Saturday and we do groceries on Saturday, and that completely threw things off. I didn't sleep very well. I had bad dreams all night, and then I had to go grocery shopping because I was late getting ready to go meet my mom for groceries. I forgot to take my meds, so I was super tired, and that made me get really overstimulated in the grocery store. So then I came home and took a really long nap that I didn't mean to take. So I'm behind. I still have a bunch of chores I need to get done today. I really need to do some dishes and clean up in the kitchen. But I'm going to get this done first because Ash is also taking a nap right now. So I will wait into the kitchen once she wakes up. And I also wanted to show you my desk setup because that was a contributing factor yesterday to why I didn't get a whole lot done. Okay, so this is the desk. This is a vintage desk, probably from the 70s, that I got on OfferUp. I think it was like 25 bucks. It was really cheap. And then I have a laptop stand from the thrift store. It actually rotates side to side. And I do like this desk. I like this setup. However, I'm someone who uses a lot of longhand writing, and hi, can you please focus? I can't have my longhand stuff and my laptop set up here. So the other issue is that my laptop is probably 7 or 8 years old. I got it refurbished about 6 years ago. And that means that the charging cord looks like this. This is literally the size of a brick. And it's in the middle of the cord. I don't know why they have to put it in the middle and not closer to one end. If it was closer to this, I could have it on the floor. If it was closer to here, I could put it on the desk. But because it's in the middle, if it's on the desk, then this end won't reach the outlet. And if it's on the floor, this end won't reach my laptop. So it's really frustrating. It means that I can't have my laptop plugged in. And this is an older laptop. It takes a very specific battery that is getting hard to find. I've already had to replace the battery once. So I'm having to use it on battery power, and that gives me a shorter and shorter time every time, especially because I use a 2-monitor setup. And if I'm running a video in the background or editing or something, I can get about an hour out of the battery if I'm doing video editing. And if I'm just doing text, then I can get maybe 2 or 3 hours, depending. It also means that if I'm working in bed where I can plug it in, it does have a tendency to overheat, especially when I'm working on video and exporting video. And also, this is the far end of the apartment furthest from where our router is. So if I'm at my desk, I tend to lose my internet connection a lot. So at some point this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dual monitor setup and move it to my old desk in the living room. And I hear what you're saying, Sheena, if you have a second desk, why aren't you using it? Well, there's a few reasons for that. First of all, that desk was purchased for me as a graduation present when I graduated from high school. And in a lot of ways, I love it. However, it was chosen for me by my dad, who picked what he wanted and not what he thought I would actually find useful. So this desk is so large that it has a name. Her name is Brunhilde. And if we ever lost our apartment, we could put that on the side of the road and live in it. That is how big this roll-top desk is. It also has a lot of really small cubbies that are too small for anything that I use, really. And the other issue with it is it's a gorgeous piece of Amish-made furniture. However, it is also 20 years old and was not really designed well for computers. It was designed to have a desktop tower, which is fine. That's where our printer and our router live. But it's not really made for a laptop. So I still have the same issue with the charging cable unless I put the laptop in the keyboard tray. So I can do that, but then the laptop isn't at the right height for me to use it. So it's a lot of fiddling around with the physical desk itself, trying to make it work. The other issue is it is in a corner of our apartment that is super dark, even though I've got lamps over there. It's also currently where my sewing is set up. So I need to finish the sewing projects before I can move this stuff out there. And that desk is also just used for storage right now. Like, we don't even know how to sell it because it's so big. And this is a piece of furniture that cost thousands of dollars when it was made, and we might be able to get like $200 for it tops. So I don't even know what to do with it. There's a lot of emotional baggage that goes with it because of my dad. And I like the concept of it. It is a computer-friendly roll-top desk, which are not easy to find. But it's also a light wood, and I hate light wood. But that's what my dad loves, so that's why I ended up with it. Anyway, it's a lot of like geometry and logistics and physical stuff that I need to do. The other issue again is I don't have a comfortable chair out there to work on. So I might be able to swap this chair that I'm using out with a different one and bring the slightly less comfortable chair in here. And because we're on summer quarter, I don't really need the dual monitor set up for my work computer, and I can just have my work computer here. That computer has a great cord. It's really long. The brick is about half this size, so it's super easy to manage. But anyway, I would really love to finish editing chapters 4, 5, and 6 before I break for dinner. And then after dinner, I can do my chores and stuff. So that's what I'm working on right now. I currently have an iced matcha latte. And let's get started, I guess, because we've got a lot of work to do. Chapter 4 complete. Okay, it is a lot later. I finished chapter 4, basically rewrote all of chapter 5, which is good because I was able to work in 2 more characters that really needed to be either introduced or get more screen time. And then I adjusted some timeline stuff. I had something that needed to happen slightly earlier, so that's taken care of. I closed a plot hole that I had that was very minor, but I took care of it. Ate some dinner, went for a really long walk, and took a shower. I still have to do some exercises tonight, but I had such a good writing session. I spent probably 2 hours on it. And the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is I used to bike for 20 miles a day just for fun. And a nice long writing session like that where I'm in the flow and everything, to me, that feels like finishing one of those bike rides. It's almost like out of breath, endorphin high. I'm so excited and happy, and I feel so accomplished. And Puck is getting really close to my tripod. But it's such a good sensation, and it feels like working out. That's the level of endorphins that I get. Could you be a little less noodly? And then I'm going to try to write at least the first scene of chapter 6 because it is quite different from the current opening scene. And I need to add a little bit more to that while I've still got it in my head. So I'm going to do that if my kitten will let me, and I will check back in tomorrow morning. Okay, hi. We are back over on the bed because I did it stupid earlier. I went for a really long walk this morning. I actually did my normal route twice instead of once, and I did not hydrate properly. And then I came home and I ate lunch, did not finish hydrating, took a nap for 2 hours, still did not finish hydrating, so I woke up with a headache. So I have my gigantic glass of water here that I'm working on. I also have a root beer because I need caffeine because number 1, I'm tired. Number 2, caffeine helps with headaches. And number 3, I'm very limited on the medications I can take for headaches. So caffeine it is. And then I also have ice cream because It's June and my birthday's next week and it's hot outside, so of course I have ice cream. Like, don't you have ice cream? Go get yourself some ice cream. It makes everything better. Okay, so where we left off, I've started chapter 6, which, much like chapter 5, needs to be rewritten basically from scratch. I do have a scene with her sort of frenemy character, and that's not the right word for it. Anyway, the main character, Claudia, hates this character's guts. Her name is Anne. And for the first 5 chapters, I didn't know why Claudia was so pissed off at Anne. I just knew that they had history, they went to high school together, and then I figured it out. So this isn't really a spoiler for the series or anything. But the main character, Claudia, is bisexual canonically. And throughout the series, she will date both men and women. And in high school, she was going through a really rough time for reasons that I will not elaborate here. And she was also questioning. Now, Sunflower Hollow is a very open community. That's what happens when you have a spiritualist community. It's very open. Queerness goes hand in hand with the witchy stuff. Like, that's just how it is. Rainbows everywhere. There are other characters in this book who are canonically queer. It just hasn't shown up on page because, like, I'm not pulling back the covers on somebody's sex life just to put it on the page, you know? It's not relevant to the story, so it hasn't shown up. Anyway, so Claudia and Anne were a thing in high school, but Claudia was questioning. She was not out yet. She was not even out to herself yet. She was just kind of experimenting. And while yes, she is bi, she was not ready to say that out loud yet or put some kind of label on it. And Anne, who wanted to be a reporter, was on the school paper. And for graduation, she did an article on queer graduates and included Claudia in that article and included some quotes from Claudia that were said in confidence, said in privacy, and that she did not want shared. So it basically got blasted to not only the entire high school, but the entire town because it was a special edition of the school paper. And then went on as the editor to use that article and that edition of the paper to get a full ride scholarship to an out-of-state school. She then left without apologizing or saying goodbye. Now, Anne comes from a wealthy family. She did not need that scholarship. That scholarship was a feather in her cap, while Claudia really did need a scholarship. So there's a lot of tension between them. Even though Claudia is about 30 at this point, she and Anne still don't get along. She does not trust her. She thinks Anne is conniving and scheming, which is pretty true. Anne is very ambitious. But Anne is trying to make it up to her. She's not doing a good job of it. I'm just going to put that out there. And this scene really illustrates how bad Anne is at apologizing and admitting she's wrong, even when she does feel legitimate remorse for the things that she has done. She has not had to apologize very much in her life because she has a lot of money. So I have just finished writing that scene between them. Claudia is not in a great place mentally, so she has gone home to bed rot, and now I am at the point where the murder board comes out. Except it is not a murder board yet. Right now it's just a theft board. The murder is going to come very soon. We're going to get there in a little bit. So I'm going to dive back in. I would like to finish chapter 6 today. Like ideally I would want to finish more than that, but I'm also aware I'm going to be doing a lot of rewrites for chapter 6 and probably chapter 7 as well, and probably chapter 8. So I'm going to get back to work. I'm going to finish my ice cream, and I will check back in later. Okay, another late night, another shower. I just wanted to check in before I get ready for bed because it is after 11 o'clock and my headache is still here. So I finished rewriting chapter 6. Chapter 7 probably also need rewritten. Chapters 7 and 8 have been problematic from the get-go. Like, this section of the story has always been just very problematic. Like, it's not working no matter what I do. And right now I need to shift a scene. I have a scene where Claudia has dinner with her family, and that scene has moved around so many times that it no longer makes sense. So it does need to happen, but it also needs to be rewritten. So I need to do that tomorrow. The problem is, because it is now going back at the beginning of the story where it was supposed to be in the first place, I have to rewrite it, partially because when I moved it later in the story, I had more information in it, and now it needs to be more hinting at the future, and I can't remember. Foreshadowing, that's the word. Foreshadowing's the word I'm thinking of. You can tell that I'm getting tired and headachy. So far in the last couple of days, I have added about 3,000 words to this book, which is saying something, because I was originally sitting around 60,000 words, and then it got down to like 58 something, and now I've had to add it back in. So I'm deleting a lot, but I'm also writing a lot of new material, which is good. I am a consummate underwriter. I always write shorter books than I should and then have to flesh them out later. I'm not happy with a lot of the language in this one right now, but I'm just trying to get the words on the page and I can finesse it later. That is a future Sheena problem. And future Sheena probably hates me, but this is the way writing works. So we're gonna let that sit. I would love to get in another session tonight, but that's not going to happen because I still need to finish getting ready for bed and I am tired. But the nice thing about my summer schedule is that I can sleep on my natural circadian rhythm, which is between midnight and about 8 a.m., rather than forcing myself to get up early to commute. So this is nice. And I feel like I'm more creative and energetic through the day when I can do that. But, you know, paycheck's a paycheck. So anyway, I am going to go finish getting ready for bed. I still need to take my meds and brush my teeth and stuff. So I'm going to go do that, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Good morning. Excuse the red face. I just got back from my walk. So I was checking my clips last night, and this vlog is about the length that I would like it to be. I'm going to cut off here just so I'm not overwhelming my poor ancient computer with the upload. But one last thing that I wanted to do before I end things is I need to set up my personal planner for summer quarter. You know, I don't normally use my personal planner, or at least I haven't been during the main part of the school year, just because I have my big planner that I have at work that has all of my appointments and all of my meeting notes in it. And for my personal stuff, there usually isn't a lot, and I have my phone for that. However, because I'm working from home and I'm doing all of my work and personal and school stuff in the same location, and the quarter is starting up, my class is getting ready to start up, I do want to make sure that I have my planner set up, because I was forgetting things over break and I don't like doing that. So I have a kitten who's in the way. I have my Happy Planner Classic. This is one of the deluxe covers. I don't think they make this specific one anymore. And then I have some iridescent rings that I got as part of a set. These are the plastic rings, and I'm not super happy with them because I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but a lot of the iridescent part is flaking off. To be fair, I heavily use this planner and I've had it for a few years, but still it's annoying. So I just have vertical planner pages in here, and what I do for this, or what I have been doing for when I'm taking classes, is I divide this into home, work, and school. That way I can put all my deadlines on here. I color code everything, and then I individually number by hand because I like the undated planners, because when you have ADHD and you forget to use your planner for a month, it sucks to throw out a month worth of blank pages just because the date is wrong. So that's also what whiteout is for. I will happily renumber pages if I need to, but when it's a dated planner and you're pulling a chunk out in the middle, then you have to set it aside for the end, and it's a faff. I don't want to mess with it. So anyway, undated pages. And again, kitten in the way. That is the story of my life right now. The supplies I'm going to use, this is in a pencil pouch I got from Amazon. I will try to link to it below if I can find it. It's probably discontinued. I think I looked for it once again, and the style is still there. This pattern is not. So what I like to use is a Pentel Energel in a 0.5 or 0.7 point. Usually in black or blue. Today I'm using black because it's what I have right here. And then I color code with these Sharpie pastel highlighters. Now, I have found that my favorite pens, if they have the type of like ink smoothness that I like, fountain pens, they all smear if I go over them with highlighter. So what I do is I put the highlighter down first and then wait for it to dry, and like 5 minutes later I go back in with the pen. So I also use a pencil. This is also Pentel. It's a twist erase. This one happens to be a 0.7 lead. I also have 0.5. And then for stuff that I'm not sure about, I use things like these little page flags or mini post-its. And that's an X-Acto knife you're chewing on. I'm going to have to shut him out of the room because he loves pens and pencils. He is also a complete stationery obsessive. Unfortunately, he doesn't know how to write, and he doesn't have thumbs. So he just chews on everything, don't you? You chew on everything and you try to catch all of my pens. But he's so cute. So cute. And then I also have washi tape for blocking stuff out. This is a crystal ball, that's the word. I don't remember where I got this from. I've had it for a while. It's just been in my stash. And then I also have a ruler. And just to be extra, fountain pen, this is a Pilot Metro fine point, and I have some, excuse you, sir. My cat was just drinking my chai. Anyway, this has blue ink in it, so I'm going to keep it on hand for a contrast, but I don't know if I will need it. I'm not going to do top-down filming just because this has some like personal work-related stuff in it. I'm not going to get into it, but I will at least show you part of the setup. I'm going to put on a movie while I do that, and let's go. go get more planner pages because I ran out. So I normally prefer a Monday start undated vertical, but I ran out of those. I only had Sunday start left. So what I did is blocked out the top with washi tape, and then I'm going to go in with a Sharpie and number those days on top of the washi tape, and then I'll just, put the date on the washi tape and the day on top, and then just keep going from there because waste not, want not. And eventually I'm going to have to order more pages or print them out myself, but I really don't want to print this out because it's a weird size. I don't want to have to cut it down. I always mess up on like the back-to-back part of it, but I do have a template on my work computer that I can use if I need to. So I'm going to get back to this. So far I have only put in my personal stuff, and then what I'm going to do off camera is go get my work laptop and pull in my work appointments and put those in here as well. So I'm going to finish this up. I'll give you a quick flip through when I'm completely done, but other than that, this is it for this week. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, subscribe. On this channel I mostly talk about knitting and writing, and then I also have a second channel that'll be linked down below where we talk about cozy mysteries such as cozy crafting and finding joy in our little corners. And I think that's all I have to say for right now. So I will see you next time. Ciao!